that record button. Okay,
Hello,
we are
everybody,
here.
welcome.
Why would you
just
say
gonna...
that about it?
I don't know.
After all it's done for you.
Mm-hmm. So,
I love stealing incense.
okay, alright, sorry, I was in the middle of looking at...
You should be sorry.
Oh my. Alright. Alright. Done sitting. Done a thing. I am here. That just took me a hot... Awesome.
I'm all
Okay.
saved and exited out now.
So, hi, welcome. It's
Hello.
D&D time. It's D&D time for
is.
everybody. How is everybody's evening so?
It's
an evening.
Yeah, I concur.
Yeah, that's it sucks, and I'm sorry that it's well.
Hasn't been, I mean, at least for me, hasn't been great. Hasn't been terrible, but hasn't been great.
I've had better. I've had worse, but I've had better.
ain't that the
And
truth?
it is the day of all time.
If you really think about it, any day that isn't your worst day has been worse, and any day that isn't your best day has been better. So we all live in a perpetual state of mediocrity until one day our best day and or worst day gets topped, and then you can just continue back to mediocrity.
You don't have to say it out loud.
We all live in misery until we die.
Oh, see, mediocrity and misery is a
Anyway,
different
in
story.
Minecraft.
In Minecraft, I'm gonna got the cringiest State Farm ad about gaming. That's great. That's the only ads I want. All I want for ads is cringy State Farm gaming ads.
That is amazing.
I will only ever die in Minecraft because I can't die in real life.
It's the only way out of this misery.
That's true. I mean, who would actually die in real life? Now that is truly the cringiest thing.
Yep, yeah, it's a cringe.
Goodness gracious. Does anybody have anything interesting right now to share?
I saw a cool bug on the floor earlier.
Interesting.
By the way, sorry if I'm
Or-
moving around your sheet, Dusty. I'm reading over everything on the sheet because it's been a while since I've done everybody's sheets a good once over and refamiliarized
That's
myself
okay.
with all of their
That's what
spells
I'm
and
doing
things.
now since you're talking about things. I'm like, I'm level 15. Do I got all my stuff on here?
Do I have everything? I do see 17th level wish on here, so somebody is planning.
Yeah, I'm planning.
Oh no.
I'm not there yet, but it is an option, and I don't know why I would pick anything else.
That's
I mean,
true.
So it's
True.
just there.
I suppose it is true. If you can pick Wish, why would you not pick Wish?
There are some spells. Not many, but there are a few spells.
There are some spells, yes.
There are some that are very situational that are better than Wish in that situation.
Yeah.
I might be like, maybe I'm just being stupid and missing something, but I feel like with the clone spell being something that exists, why would you ever bother going through the effort of becoming a lich when you could just like make a fuck ton of clones of yourself and like hide them? Like it's literally like a phylactery, but you don't have to be like an ugly weird skeleton, and you know, if somebody destroys one of them, you can have like 500 other ones everywhere else in the country.
Yeah, but it also has the downside of I can find all 500 of your clones, put them in a room, kill you, and now I have all 500 of you.
Well, yeah, but if somebody finds your one phylactery, you know, it's the same thing, you know?
Yeah, but phylacteries are
I don't
supposed
know.
to be able to hide in plain sight. Kind of the
Yeah, but I think
Horcrux thing in Harry Potter.
true, but I think what is the exact description? 'Cause I know it's like you just need basically like a container that would fit the body you choose to regrow in that specific container.
A
So I
phone
mean,
booth.
so you could just have it be like, fuck, you could just have it be, you know, like a random crate in the back of like a storage room in an inn that everybody always remembers was there, but nobody's sure what's in it, and they're just not sure what to do with it, and then boom, one day like a guy just bursts out of it like
That's
Guy
my
just
house.
bursts out of it.
I will say it's nice to be reading through everyone's sheets again, just for posterity, because of the fact that I remembered, or that I've seen now that Sebastian still has a fancy fire poker. And if I remember correctly, it's the one that you stole from the Duke of Darks.
Yep. And I did stab him.
Yeah.
I stabbed the guy with it.
Yep.
a
Incredible.
vessel worth at least 2,000 GP that has a sealable lid and is large enough to hold the creature being cloned, such as a huge urn, coffin, mud-filled cyst in the ground, or crystal container. So you could just dig a hole, and that counts.
You have to fill the hole with gold, but yeah. Because again,
Or a
it
crystal
specifically
container
says,
filled with salt water. That's oddly specific.
yeah,
Why salt water?
the vessel has to be worth 2,000 gold pieces. So it's like the world's most expensive hole.
You need to get some really expensive dirt, like
You
from
gild the hole. I don't even know if
you
you
just
could
turn
get
2,000
GP.
gold pieces into gold flakes and just sprinkle it through the dirt.
That's fucking hilarious, honestly. Though, technically, if you think about it, by grinding the gold pieces into flakes, you make them essentially worthless.
I mean, no.
I mean,
The whole point of
yes, but
using gold as a the whole point of using gold as a currency is that like
yes,
it in
yes.
itself is
I'm
valuable.
saying that nobody's gonna buy it as gold flake. But then again, what does the weave care
Fine, just
about
mix
the
gold coins into the dirt then, or platinum coins.
exactly? You would only need 200 platinum pieces. It's fine. Get yourself a clone by going into the platinum hole. Hey, baby,
Odd.
I got a real platinum hole. You want to see?
Okay,
I hate you so
that sounds
much.
like something that fucking
Benny,
God Benny would say. Yeah.
Benny New Vegas, the Mister New Vegas himself. That's not the New Vegas on the radio.
Benny trying to get pegged, telling girls to check out his
Oh my
platinum
God.
hole.
All right, I'm
Baby, all you need to
This
do
is
is
why-
insert your
this is why
platinum
I
chip
shouldn't
into
talk.
my platinum slot.
What,
Also,
what
technically,
has
if you bought
anybody done to deserve to listen to the words that come out of my mouth?
back on the subject of clone, if you bought a
Good
solid
question.
gold trash can, could you put yourself in the solid gold
It has
trash
to have a
can?
sealable lid, but yeah.
Trash cans can have lids.
Well, yeah, but it has to be sealable.
Who says that you can't make the lid sealable? Just make it a screw-on, and it looks like a trash can.
Does that count as a? I mean, I guess if it's really tightly screwed on.
How are you gonna get out of it if it's sealable?
Oh,
You just have to spend the rest of your life in the trash can.
I think that's probably usually why
You
they
scream
tell
really
you to.
loudly.
That's
That's
true.
probably
Hope
why
someone
the
hears about it.
examples they give are like things made of crystal or clay that you can break out of.
or dig out of, I suppose, in the whole
Yeah.
argument.
So that also calls it a question. Because also, like, the thing is,
Alternative
you-
thought. Does a noble with a net worth of over 2,000 gold pieces count if he's big enough? And you're saying, like, a small creature. Or, like, a
So
tiny
you're
creature.
like a gnome skin like chest burst.
does
Yes.
a woman's womb count as a
No,
container?
that's not what I meant!
That is not what he meant.
That's terrible.
I mean, it says in this, I'm pretty sure it says in the spell that you can make your clone, like, yourself at any age. You could literally clone yourself to be an infant again.
No, get this. All right, it's over. A lot of BS hours are over.
I don't already started it.
They're gone.
Or at least that particular.
I was thinking some real alien shit, not actual unbirth, like fucking
Okay,
what?
you're the only one turning it into fetish shit
Yeah,
here.
Duncan
Okay.
says that was the last thing I wanted to hear today. Also, I'm
Well, too bad.
Anyway, welcome back to P's and Q's. It's been a week, but we are back in full. So, last time there was quite a bit that happened that was taking place in the headquarters of Kholm's tribe, more of an actual city than a headquarters. It is a place where it seems like this tribe has kind of embraced modernity, and they are partaking in a lot of the culture and technology that comes with the advancement of humanity. In general, anyway. You guys met with the mayor, who is Kholm III, and he has shared with you all that he knew, and he pointed you towards a previous member of the Close Circle tribe who he is harboring. And we left off after the conversation with the member of Kholm's tribe, the Close Circle. Goodness gracious, I lost my train of thought. There was a bit of party conflict. Not full on party conflict, but there were some things that some people were doing that other people viewed as possibly hostile, but everything seems to have worked out so far. We'll have to see how things go going forward. Which is where we're going to come back. It is about noon on the 26th of Nidal, your 749 AC, and you guys are just exiting the house of the Close Circle Druid. Sebastian, you've made it known that you aren't exactly in this guy's corner, to say the very least. And a couple of party members, specifically I believe the only one who showed anything was Celira, was ready to defend this guy at that time by zipping him out with, I believe it was a Scroll of Dimension Door. Then again, it was Dimension Door, right?
And more, yeah. Let's defend more,
displaced,
keep from being beheaded.
More, keep away from the paladin.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
It is now up to you guys. You guys have learned quite a lot from him. You guys have learned quite a few things just by walking around, and you guys have a lot of things to follow up on. So the question remains, what are you guys actually going to do? Oh, and the druid's name, for anybody who missed out on the last session, was Parsoni. Or, sorry, Parsony.
Can't even get his own character's names right. Wow. Sorry.
Look, man, I forget the
well,
the pronunciations when I'm reading it not in my own voice. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just going on. Cameron, you wanted to say something?
Well, now
Please go on.
Caught off guard.
I think he's trying to distract from his own verbal incompetence.
I was just gonna say,
What?
Sebastian is once again like gonna revert back into himself for a little bit as he plunges deep into thought for a little bit. He looks mad, very mad.
Oh dear.
like he's ready to punch a wall out, but
Oh, I hope it's not at me.
It's definitely a bit of an aura emanating from the paladin at Current. It's honestly kind of out there because so far in travel, you guys have had very little that's really challenged Sebastian and the party's views together. This is probably, I think, the first time that there has actually been a disagreement on the validity of punishing or not punishing somebody that he's viewed as an evildoer. It's mostly been bandits, necromancers, things like that, but this is the first time that there's ever actually been some butting of heads. So the air around the party is a little bit charged at the moment.
so yeah, Sebastian's gonna keep to himself for a little bit. Feeling as though like being prodded on the matter might make him explode. So he needs to, take a few minutes to gather himself, I think, is important before he talks to everybody about, what happened. Back at the inn, at least.
I say, yeah, sounds should probably go to the end. I'm gonna be going to the library to see if there's anything on liches or so to do a little bit more research, just try to figure out what the fuck we're dealing with.
All right, so you would like to visit your local library.
Yep.
Unbelievably a good idea.
Yeah.
So, Kunj is electing to head off to browse the literature of this tribe. Does anybody want to go with him? Does anybody have any separate plans?
Sebastian might go look for a church.
Okay.
I might as well go browse some literature, as I am the bard.
I mean,
it's like you feel a cosmic calling.
Probably won't be his church. There are a lot of different kinds of churches in this world.
You don't technically need a church specifically for you. A place of prayer is enough, honestly.
Yeah, they'd probably just have holy places, so a place where you could go pray to any god.
Indeed.
A place of peace. There are also
the
some
question,
like
I don't know why the things just pop would it be like viewed as disrespectful by Bahamut to pray to Bahamut in like a holy place to Tiamat, or what do you think? Yeah, dude, fuck her.
I mean,
it depends on the
yeah,
it depends on the manner of your prayer. If you were to say approach that place and I would say if you were to try to say a prayer almost to destroy its consecration in a way, I'm not sure if like God versus God is counted as desecration. Maybe it is. I'd have to look up the actual definition. But it is an interesting question. I wouldn't think that Bahamut would be against it, though I think he would probably find it strange that you would choose her place if you were doing just a general prayer. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I think it would totally depend on the prayer. Like if you went in and prayed, "Fuck this bitch," am I right? And
like my brain thinks because of obviously because of BG3 brain rot. My immediate other example would be like praying to Shar in a Selûnite temple.
Yeah.
Now,
but
honestly, one could make an argument that maybe you wouldn't even be able to commune with your god in those places because of the disconnection. But who knows?
True.
Who knows? Anyway, so Sebastian is heading down the street in a solemn way to find somewhere to pray himself. And that leaves the rest of you. So Kunj and Ocularis are headed off to the library. Anyone else need to know where they're going?
I think that magic shop that goodness, who went to that time?
I went to the magic shop.
Failing me.
It was Jen, yes.
Or did we? Or yeah, did Jen actually look through everything there? Because I think I only heard a couple things mentioned. Was there more there?
He did some browsing, but a lot of it was trinkets. The magical equivalent of the magical equivalent of things like sparklers or like things that help with very basic tasks. Perhaps like the clock stone that I mentioned.
I mean, I suppose probably the best bet then would just be following along with half the rest of the group here and just checking out the library and trying to find out more here.
Okay.
Because I suppose, as the ancient sage Jaijo once said, knowing is half the battle.
I hate you, by the way. Thank you for bringing that heresy to this game.
You're welcome.
I guess the last one there is Jen. Are you intending to go with everybody else to the library, or do you have some other business you'd like to attend to?
I don't really have any other business, but I'm not gonna really be useful in the library either, so it doesn't really matter to me right at the moment where I go, but I'm just gonna stand in the corner.
We'll say then that you will follow along with the majority of the group, which does, strangely, include Boga. Boga did not follow Sebastian, and he's going to come along with you. And so, we're going to run very quickly over to the library. Your group arrives on the steps of the tribe's library. It is, by all accounts, a regular library, any that you would see in a normal town. It's not sizable. You would expect the largest sizable library to be stuck in the city, for example, the main one, anyway, of Alalaksa.
Right.
But this one should at least prove a little bit fruitful if you guys can dig deep enough. So, throwing open the library and not being accosted by flumps on the front doorstep, you make your way in, and the smell of books and ink entice you to proceed forwards. So, Kunch has already made it clear what he's looking for. You're looking for documentation on liches and undeath, correct?
Yeah, and then there's a second thing I want to look up also is anything about dragons or known dragons in the area.
Okay,
to see if we can find.
Let's do a little bit of a focus here, and I'll have you pick one of those to start. And let's get an investigation check going.
Okay.
Alternatively, if anybody wants to, you could use a, I will say, history check to also find any relevant materials that you're looking for, if it's based on, say, the history of, if anyone wants to go looking for dragons or liches or whatever. Is there anything else in particular that anybody is looking for besides Kunj?
I don't know if I'll be able to find it in here, but part of me wants to try and look for any books about, I guess, the construction of Alalaksa would be the closest, like,
Are you talking architecturally?
Yeah,
like actually discussing the way that it's built, not the history of it being built?
Yeah, just like architecturally, not, like cultural or anything like that, like strictly, God, I'm good at words. Just literally its construction.
Okay, so I will let you make either a history check or an investigation check to go looking for your own book. So with that in mind, Kunj, let's go ahead and see that check if you have some time.
I am able to use my glasses, right?
They let you examine minute details. I'm going to say, for this particular check, glasses are off the table because you aren't examining an object, you're skimming through a library.
Okay, that's fair.
As for you, Alex, you were about to ask if the bird can help you, or if the bird can be the one to do it.
I mean, yeah, more or less. Have her helping me, like, search the library.
I will let her give you the help action, but I will not allow her to be the one that makes the check because she's a bird.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah.
She doesn't know how to fly.
She can't exactly. Well, I mean, I can at least, because I mean, she is smart and also, magical. Probably at least, point her out for like bindings to look for. But I don't imagine there's a
The
whole
thing
lot more
is if she were to be the main one
that she can
searching,
do.
she would have to have a lot of instruction on the things to
Yeah.
look for, so much so that you would basically be spearheading the investigation anyway.
I know that I've been stretching that a little bit, but I will accept her helping me instead of me helping her.
Indeed.
What was my
Kunj,
investigation again?
unfortunately, despite your best efforts, your search turns up empty of pretty much anything helpful. You spend a good hour combing the library, looking for anything of relevance to you, but no matter how hard you search, you can't find anything that seems substantial enough to you to warrant looking into. Now, on Celira's part.
Actually, okay, so I'm just checking up on the eyes a minute real quick. It says I have advantage on intelligent investigation checks that lie on site while searching an area or studying an object.
Oh, while searching an area as well. Then I will allow it. I forgot that it was also for searching an area, so I will allow that to exist. So go ahead and roll me one more.
Sorry about that. I gotta take the advantage when I can get them.
To be honest, there's like 50
remember,
bajillion magic items in here. So
you do have the bard there. He's just stuck at the magazine rack reading all the gossip. Because I walked into it, ooh, gossip, and
needs to find rumors to misconstrue.
You know what? I guess that.
God, Fate.
I'll go.
Fate.
I'll go fuck myself.
Fate has decided. Fate has decided.
Yep, that'll be it for me.
You just wasted a shiny Pokemon roll, by the way, just like Alex did yesterday.
I did.
Oh, God,
absolutely.
Okay, so, with that in mind, Celira, your search through the library unfortunately does not turn up any architectural records for Alalaxa. But that doesn't mean that you're coming out of this empty-handed. By skimming through the library, you did find a record of one visitor's look through the city. It's more a personal penning of a tribesman's journey through the modernized city. And it would possibly be of interest if you were to spend some time looking over it.
And that probably not going to give me the exact details I was looking for, but it's going to be better than nothing.
Okay.
So she'll sit down with it and start reading through it, and I'll say trying to basically make like a rudimentary map of the city based on the descriptions.
Okay.
Not obviously anything super advanced, but enough to, know where everything would be from a bird's eye view without actually having to take a bird's eye view in the place swarming with undead.
Fair enough. Now, that will take you, I will say, an hour of comprehension, of sitting down and doing your best to read through the entire... Well, maybe reading through the entire novel would be difficult in an hour. I might extend that, especially if you're spending meticulous time penning down the details. Let's extend it to 3 hours.
As long as nobody else needs the bird in those 3 hours, I'm more than happy to spend that time going through the book.
Okay.
What time did you say it was again?
By the time that you guys get there, I'll still say it's noon just for posterity's sake.
Okay. Well, any time in the early afternoon is fine by me.
Brevity's sake. Goodness gracious, I have
Who's brevity?
I have brain rot. Shut up.
I don't know either of those.
You're giving me more brain rot. Put it
You're
away.
Welcome.
So you're going to start doing that, and so for the first hour, does anybody else have anything they'd like to do? Ocularis, Jen, any particulars? Else you guys are just going to hang around and generally partake in library knowledge while this is happening. Kunj, I will allow you to make me another investigation check, and that'll be 2 more over the course of 2 hours while you search the library.
Okay. I also say if anyone, if I walk up to anyone who's listening, hey, if you guys want to help me look for this, I really would appreciate the help.
Unfortunately, they wouldn't be able to give you extra advantage, but I suppose they could go looking themselves.
That's what I'm saying. Because if we can,
I could take pity and go search. I'm decent at searching.
Yeah, I am definitely the bard who can see everything.
For once in his life, he feels this strange pang of emotion, the desire to help a friend of acquaintance.
For acquaintance. During this time, by the way, despite having come with you likely to help, Boga
Oh
has
my god.
sat himself down
Holy
and is
shit.
doing nothing.
So
Yeah.
if to help him, I credit. I look up and go, oh yeah, it's this section over there. I know libraries.
He
Ocularis.
just points in the exact spot where it is.
Ocularis is asked about the book, and his body immediately lifts about 6 inches off the ground. His chest
It looks
puffs
like we got an
outwards.
internet hiccup.
Are you serious?
Yep.
I'm
Womp womp.
gonna commit sins against the internet.
Don't do that.
Okay, well, I guess I'm waiting here for a second while this reconnects.
It looks like it's back.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ocularis, again, 6 inches off the ground. His arms are lurched behind his back. His chest is puffed out. His eyes and mouth are open with arcane energy. And he sails at 15 miles per hour through the library directly to the closest possible thing that could help. And what it is not an accurate description of undeath, nor is it a log on liches or any kind of scientific book. However, you do find a tucked away, very old tome, Ocularis, all joking aside, that has its bindings almost ready to fall apart. It's been stashed about as far back in the library as you can possibly muster, and it appears to be about ancient ritual rites and superstitions of the various tribes. Again, something that may or may not provide some information for your search.
Okay, I'll make sure to
Doesn't
point
sound like
it
the
out
worst
and-
place to start looking.
yeah. We
Okay.
can start with this.
We'll definitely follow his friend and be like, okay, I see. I just feel he'll just kind of grab the book like, thank you.
It's not a surprise that you didn't find it, by the way. From where he's pointing, it would not have been in the place that you would have looked. And so, you now are in possession with such a book. And for you to pore over it, this is a thick tome. Very big one. This is no self-authored book. This is going to take you a while to comb through. By your estimation, if you were to tear through this thing, it would take you probably at least a day of dedicated reading.
Well, I guess I'm gonna be reading. Well, I guess I'm gonna be reading for the next all day for the next few hours, guys. Let me know if anything interesting happens, and I'll bring it to the table and get started.
You plop down on the table and unfold the moldering book and begin to peruse its contents. And so, we're going to take a small break and we're going to zoom out of the library where the party is doing their investigating. And we're going to zip across town to Sebastian. Sebastian, you've been wandering around the streets for a little bit here.
Sorry.
How would you like to locate a place of holy divine magic or just of consecration for you to pray?
Well, he's gonna be realistic about it. He's gonna ask around.
Okay. So,
Like,
getting a few questions out to the various passers-by, you take note that over time, it seems like this tribe has basically set up with... It's not a good way to say this, but there is essentially a warehouse. This warehouse has been converted into a general area for worshippers of most kinds to come in, find a small shrine to their deity, and pray. And you are directed to this place, which is a little bit west of the city's main hall.
okay, well, he'll head there.
Indeed. So, once you get there, you do find the building to be pretty plainly adorned. It is of basic make, but there are some decorations that are strewn about. Atop of it, there is in common a a notice that basically just says All Faiths Chapel. And yes, I am using that name. Sue me, because it's a great name. Regardless,
Okay.
uh,
Assuming you yoinked it from something, but I don't know what.
oh,
So,
there's a small chapel in Fallout 4 called the All Chapel.
oh,
It's basically useless, but anyway, out of the brain.
Sebastian will set in. Will head in and attempt to locate a shrine to Bahamut.
Indeed. As you head in, you do pass by somebody who appears to be a member of the tribe, judging by the way that their clothing is emblazoned with the tribe's symbol, and they give you a very solemn bow, but don't greet you in any other way. Let me see. Here. I have to check your statisticals.
whoa.
You'd take note that it seems like he's not being quiet out of disdain or fear, but mostly out of respect. It's likely that this tribe member isn't exactly versed in all kinds of deities, and so rather than try to greet you as a member of your own
I
pantheon,
didn't hear a word of what you just said.
Oh no! Did my
No.
voice cut out?
I heard him just fine.
For me, he cut out and like roboted.
Sounds like a skill issue.
It sounds like a skill issue. Yes.
I
Regardless,
will fucking eat you.
I'll repeat
I
myself
don't
just
taste
once.
very good.
The tribe member outside, who is clearly emblazoned with the tribe symbol, he gives you a bow. And as you were passing by, you take note that the bow doesn't appear to be out of fear or disdain or even what's the word I'm looking for?
Disrespect.
Not disrespect. It's indifference. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not out of indifference, disrespect, or disdain. It's just because he isn't sure, likely, how to greet somebody of your church. And so what he is doing is respectfully greeting anybody who appears to be coming in for that purpose. And so you can make your way inside.
He takes note of it. Doesn't necessarily acknowledge them because he's kind of in his own head right now. So he heads for a place of worship for Bahamut, if there is one.
Indeed. You begin to make your way inside of the warehouse, and it is basically a warehouse. It is huge, and the entire thing has basically been cleaned out of most supplies. You can see lining the walls, and in a small row in the center, there are altars of nearly every faith, or at least possibly every faith that these guys could get their knowledge about, lined up. In fact, to you, it's honestly shocking how many warring deities are put within sight of each other in this place. It's likely a mistake that is made by perhaps the people who aren't really grasping the proper deification of it, and I would say in respect of each individual church's wishes, but more out of a necessity to give everybody a place to pray no matter who they are. You see dedications to Tiamat, which was, again, referenced earlier. Though, of course, there doesn't appear to be anybody tending, and that specific altar is left basically barren and empty, though it does bear her holy symbol.
He laughs as he passes by it.
In fact, besides a few of the more well-known gods, like Moradin, for example, there are very few shrines that are heavily decorated or even have large numbers of offerings to them. Good notes again, Moradin has a lot of offerings. Sylvanas has quite a few offerings, especially considering where you are. But you do take note that Bahamut does actually have a decent level of offering. In fact, even as you approach, there appears to be incense that was left to burn, perhaps by a previous visitor of your deity. It smells quite enticing, and it gives you this kind of aura of calm as you approach it.
Is there a place to sit close to the shrine?
Of course. There's nobody in front of the shrine at the moment, and nobody appears to be in a position to bother you. So you would likely be able to kneel and meditate or pray without being,
Sebastian is going to leave 50 gold in the offering box
Indeed, you throw open the tithes box, or the offering box, excuse me, and you leave
Yep.
an offering of 50 gold pieces.
I do. And then he sits close by and prays,
All
hoping
right.
to find something in his prayers, strength perhaps, to get him through a trying time.
Okay, I will ask you if how you want to pray. What exactly in your prayers do you want to focus on in, we'll say, your meditative state? Is there any particular way that you want to focus your divine power? Are you doing it in an aggressive manner or in a solemn
He's
manner?
basically reciting in his prayers. He will be reciting his loyalty to his oath.
Hey,
That no matter what happens, he will not break it.
all right.
So yeah,
Wonderful.
because his oath is to his god and his god's ideal. So that's what he'll be doing. He'll be reinforcing his loyalty.
All right. So, small break here. We're going to zoom away from you while you spend some time in deep thought and prayer
Okay.
to your god. Back on over, we're going to zoom in at about an hour later. Salira,
Doing a lot of zooming.
yes, indeed. You've
Sorry.
started to go through a few things about the city, and you've made it through about a third of the book as you expected to. And going forward, you have an understanding that this was penned by a very young person. They don't actually tell about their affiliation here, for better or for worse, but they mention that they are a member of a tribe, and they seem very open, in case that's a clue in. Regardless, they were actually visiting the city on tribal business only as the charge of somebody more important than them. And so they were left to their devices for quite a long time while that person was doing their business in the city. They describe how they've basically seen that the city is huge, and the streets wind so much that it's very easy to get lost. In fact, they had to get a guide to get them to certain areas of the city. His first part of his journey talked about the mercantile district, and you spent a lot of time searching through to try to find things that were of interest, and only one sticks out. You do hear that the boy heard rumors about a very suspicious merchant that was, what is the word I'm looking for again? I've lost myself in full. It's the opposite of revered.
Despised?
Thank you.
I mean,
Goodness
that would be
gracious. Yeah, despised. Despised by the other merchants for the way he acts, how suspicious he was of pretty much everything. And nothing really catches your eye until you read the word trafficking. But the boy brushes it off as suspicion. Apparently, the merchant was rumored to be investigating said trafficking. But he doesn't have any way to confirm it, and it wasn't his business.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm sorry.
The merchant was like the suspicious merchant was said to be investigating the trafficking.
Exactly. From what you can gather, he seemed suspicious of everyone and hardly interacted with the other merchants.
When you say suspicious, you mean he was suspicious of people, not he himself was acting suspiciously.
Well, yes, that's exactly what I mean. We're talking open hostilities and basically not wanting to interact with other merchants who he thought might have been in on it, for example. Those are the kind of rumors. The specific merchant ran a shop called Cobble Trouble. Probably a cobbler's shop based on the terrible name. But, sorry, I also have, I bit my lip.
Rude.
Or not my lip, the inside of my mouth.
Man, I was just trying to run a business, and this fucking kid's here, running
that was straight up a god thing. Like, God is here. That's me, and I'm insulting his name.
Oh. You made your naming conventions?
moving on, you find that despite your other readings, you know what you're about to look into. There are essentially three major districts in the city. There is the Mercantile District, a general residential and temple district, and there is a rich district. The smallest of all of the districts, but houses the most influential people in the city. But you will learn more about that in the coming hours. Kunj,
There we go.
quick update on the things that you're reading.
Quickest fingers in the West.
The introduction to your book has been mostly about establishing what the book is for. It is going to describe, in as great a detail as possible, the various different rites, rituals, and superstitions of each tribe. The author admits that they will be doing a lot of this via oral, basically oral passing, because that's how some tribes tend to do it. Though he notes that it is not in his tribe's nature to do that, and also basically makes himself known as a tribesman. Regardless, he states that the earliest part of the book is going to be the stuff that he learned the most about. And he makes note that his tribe actually has the least recorded history and tradition of all of them.
Interesting.
You try to search your brain for who that person might belong to, kind of on a surface level, and try to think back as to why it would be so strange, but nothing comes to your mind as of right now. But it seems like your first voyage is actually going to be for the Closed Circle tribe.
Oh, yep, lovely. Circles back to them.
Okay. So, moving forward, anybody else? Since I've done a little explaining of other people's investigations so far and their things, does anybody have anything that they would like to do as of now? Any new ideas they'd like to explore?
Well,
Not
I
you.
could, but
We'll get to
I
you in a
couldn't.
second, Blue Boy.
Okay. Fair enough.
You're busy.
Big blue fuck.
I'll be good.
He's
Blueberry
blue in more ways than one.
Oh.
Dabba dee dabba die.
Dabba-dee-dabba-die.
Dabba die.
So again, I'm giving out a call. Ocularis, Jen, either of you have any new interests you'd like to explore, or are you content just to ball?
I'm
At what
content
cost?
to just hang out.
Okay.
I'm content.
Okay. Ocularis, while you are reading through your gossip, your tabloid drivel near the front of the library, you actually do find that there are some very juicy bits of gossip. You heard that
Some very Gucci bits of gossip.
Shut up. I told you I bit the inside of my mouth and now I can't talk. Okay. Sorry, I have a brain. You learn that somebody thought at one point about starting a thieves guild, but it turns out that this was some teenager, and before he could even get it, their parents caught wind and beat the fuck out of him. Like, they beat that out of him very fast. It was, you admit that it's not exactly a pretty thing to hear about, but you suppose that it's great because the Thieves Guild didn't really have a chance to start. More interestingly, though, is that this
proves that beating your children always works.
There's a small rumor going around that there might be dissent in the ranks of the tribe here. Now, this is a bit of hearsay, though obviously you adore hearsay, I can assume. But some people have been talking about how the members of the tribe have mainly been starting to give each other angry glances ever since this whole undead thing started. It's been slowly building. You imagine that perhaps Kholm's tribe isn't as unified these days as it used to be. You wonder why. Perhaps something to look into later.
Sure.
All right.
Dace.
Whoop. And camera moves over. Zoom back in. It's been a little bit more time. And Sebastian, you gave your everything in an attempt to commune with Bahamut, in an attempt to seek guidance, to understand your place in this time that is testing your faith, and not just that, but your friend's faith in you. It's a tough time for you. Oh my goodness, excuse me. There is quite a long time where there is nothing. But you have poured your body and soul into this. And for a fleeting moment, a fleeting millisecond of time, good. You feel it. You feel Bahamut's presence, less like he's there with you, but like a distant light, like a distant voice. I want you to make me an insight check, but I want you to
That's
make it with advantage.
Oh, let's go. Okay. All right. All right. How much you want to bet I'm gonna fuck this up? Boom, boom, pow.
No.
We're off to a great start. We're off to an amazing start. Come on. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Insight. Oh fuck.
Okay. So, Sebastian, while you get the feeling and you are connecting with it, the distant voice and presence of Bahamut does minorly connect with you for a moment. It's weak. It is weirdly weak. There's a desire behind the connection. But despite how hard you search, no matter how hard you try to connect further, you only get the fleeting feeling of understanding and connection. You don't get any concrete answers. You don't get any definitive idea of where you should be going, what steps you should be taking. But you feel almost a sense of trust that is deep within it. But that sense carries something else that you just weren't able to discern. It is a strange sense that even as you snap out of that moment in time, you feel uneasy. Despite having directly received a feeling, a sense from Bahamut, you are immensely at unease, like your body itself internally is churning. But that fades away as fleetingly as it did, perhaps a remnant of your communion.
Great. Uh-oh.
Don't think that made him feel any better.
No,
Perhaps
that made him
not.
feel significantly worse.
There is deep trust that your God has in you, Sebastian. But there's something else. Something is tugging at you that there's something wrong. But unfortunately,
like I've done wrong.
no.
That's the impression.
I wouldn't say that's the feeling you get. It's not like you've done wrong. Like I said, the feeling that he gave you was one of immense trust in you. But there's something else that is amiss amongst it. What would you like to do?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm feeling lost.
Looks like you might have to stay that way for a while.
Maybe. Looks like nightly prayers are going to become a thing. So, yeah, I guess he will take his leave from the church if it's been a while, and he'll seek to reconnect with his party, but now officially on edge.
Okay. It
and
has
now
been
feels not great
since you
or
departed.
forthcoming with some information.
Sebastian, since you departed, it's been about an hour and a half. And then you'll connect with your party another half hour later. So 2 hours have passed.
Okay.
Okay. So we move on. I'm going to skip to the end of Salira's investigation for now, since it'll be the shortest one. Where is my current? So it is going to be 3 o'clock p.m. as you finished your movement through your book, Salira.
I think there may have been a hiccup on the stream again.
Goodness gracious alive. Not be serious.
Yeah, it says 38 seconds now.
Do I need to check my fucking thing?
Man, it seems like it came back quickly because it went to broadcast has ended to immediately being back up, and it seems to be in decent quality.
I'm gonna really quickly check the status on actual Starlink. What are the
That's right. I personally haven't tried streaming since we got our new router. I should see if I can actually do that now.
10 seconds obstructed in the last 12 hours? Yeah, that doesn't help me. It looks like there's just been dips in the upload speed for some reason. I don't get why, but hey. I guess I can't do anything about that one. Rip. But, Salira. Anyway, your book is done. And you didn't get enough that was definitive to create a detailed map of the city, but you learn of quite a few landmarks and locations that are worth checking out. It seems to you like the rich district in the city is, again, very small, but it contains some of the most lavish buildings, some that the writer of the story describes as so gaudy they may as well have been plucked straight out of a fairy tale. Houses adorned with jewels and jade to the point where it's honestly a little bit ridiculous. Ooh, excuse me. And it seems like the people who live in that area were extremely suspicious of him, which he found weird considering that this was supposed to be a place for all tribes to be together. So he finds himself uneasy as he's making his way through the rich district of town. And there aren't any really great landmarks to go off of, and it's more of a general feel there. What's more interesting is you learn a bit about the residential district and the central area, which is the big tower. The big tower was not off limits to him, but he remarks that that is where his charge went to do business, and he spends a little bit of time in there. It's many floors, with the floors getting progressively smaller as they climb up, as these structures typically do in the way that they're built. You do find that there are many ways to go up, several stairs in these floors, but it's not. He finds it funny that you could essentially climb up the side of it with very little issue. He even finds himself wondering what it would be like and how much trouble he would get in trying to climb up to the very top.
Okay.
He reckons that would be difficult because of all of the windows. Or rather, openings that serve as glassless windows. The residential district, he says that he found the most interesting out of everything. Because the residential district was the most diverse that he ended up finding. He found it strange how many different styles of house were mixed in with the residential district, and not because the architecture was what set them apart, but there were plenty of houses that were decorated with the kinds of things that you would only expect in countries like Rukrot. Very desert-styled adornments. Some even had trees that were brought over from perhaps their home country. He remarks seeing both pine and palm trees, both of which are a little more rare in this place. He notes that while he was moving through the residential district, he found himself being tailed, which was only stopped once a guard was notified. He says that afterwards he felt unsafe, but he would continue his explorations once the guards had deigned to keep an eye out. And where are the deets? Hold on, I have to find the deets on the guy.
Some of this information is probably a bit outdated now that most of the residents are skeletons and zombies.
Frick, where am I? God damn! Oh, I bet you it's in my items.
I suppose now that I think about it, have we heard any word at all about there being anybody who is still trapped in the city, or is everybody in the city basically been hurt?
You haven't
As far as we
inquired.
know.
You haven't inquired about that.
Hmm.
You do know that
I guess
people
I was just running under the assumption that they must have been killed the way they were acting about towns outside, but I guess it's possible that there might still be people like basically shut indoors and forced to keep in line more or less.
Okay. Oh, I meant to. Here we go. I found who I was looking for. The person who was tailing the man who's authoring the book appeared to be a woman. And he didn't catch much of her features because she was shrouded in a cloak. But he makes note that whenever the light caught just right, he could see the sparkle of gemstones underneath the cloak around her neck. He thinks that it might have been a noblewoman stalking around the residential area where things are a little bit poorer. But he ponders as to why somebody of that stature would be following him around. But beyond that, the rest of the book is mostly minor musings, some other small encounters that he had that are inconsequential, a couple of rave reviews about foods he ate, and other nonsense that doesn't really serve you tactically. Though you do find that there is a baker in the city who makes a mean cinnamon bun.
Well, there used to be.
Hmm.
Can't imagine. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much of one's faculties do they keep after being turned undead. Maybe, he can still make a mean cinnamon bun. He doesn't have the. He needs to be set free and
Hey,
just let the zombie of an old baker loose in a bakery, and he just like on muscle memory starts making a loaf of bread.
oh my goodness. Well, the goodness gracious alive. That's about all that you find during your investigation into the book. And I'm going to give a quick update on Kunja's investigation. You're still only a small way through your tome, but from what you've read at this point, you've started coming to understand why it seems like these guys have such a large army of the undead. See, from what you can gather, the Close Circle tribe, despite having some very specific rituals we'll get into in a second, every tribe tends to bury their dead either in specific locations important to the tribe, or if too far for reliable transport, would be buried where they fell. Almost like it was a battlefield, but on a more general state. Because life in the jungle was very, very difficult, and often people would die to things like poison or disease. Often people would fall a lot, and the tribes obviously knew this, and so to make it as PG as possible, they tried to keep the population booming quite often.
Okay.
They was Fucking sorry.
Regardless, the tribes viewed life in very high regard, and that included the closed circle tribe. And when burials did happen, despite them being on the spot, they would always be conducted with small ceremony. But judging from what you found, the reason that there might be so many undead available is just the brutality of living in the jungle. Though it does give you pause and make you wonder as to why it's so easy for so many undead to be raised. After all, hundreds, if not thousands of years of people moving along through this area and dying, you shouldn't just be able to waggle your finger and draw up 100 soldiers from a 10 square mile thing or whatever, you know? Or
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that easy. So your attention is brought back with your sharp brain. Your attention is brought back to the fossilized skeletons that you are seeing. You make the connection that is definitely a tell that some of these skeletons are being drawn from deep within the earth. Souls of people long, long dead being reattached, or possibly just their bodies being puppeted and shoved upwards. And again, you think back to the skeleton of the Dragonborn that you spoke with. That Dragonborn soul was still minorly attached to the skeleton by force. And so people centuries dead, millennia dead maybe, are being raised up from the bowels to fight on behalf of the Close Circle tribe.
Interesting.
So, specifics time. The Closed Circle tribe, and this is just your surface level reading, does have a particular reverence for nature. Nature over people, almost. The writer does posit, just like your previous closed circle druid friend that you guys just met, and I use the term friend loosely, I guess, more of a font of information and source of, I guess, a job. I would hate to call it a job, maybe a task.
Source of animosity at this point.
Exactly. Another astute observation. But the Closed Circle tribe has immense reverence for nature over people. Despite also trying to keep their population high like the other tribes, they took great care to make sure that their footprint was the lowest of the tribes. Even the Slumbering tribe, who does a lot of work, with their trees, and they keep certain trees as sacred trees, they tended to not be as careful with spaces outside of their territory. And this is something that the Close Circle tribe apparently has a huge superstition about. They believe that the other tribes were less worthy of nature than they because they were less careful with the areas around them. Regardless, the Close Circle tribe would remain very, very neutral to everybody and simply perform all of their ritual rites as what they would call purification of progress. Essentially, they would go to places where other tribes had failed setting up settlements or outposts, or even adventurers from outside coming in, setting up camps, or trying to set up buildings or buy land or whatever, and had they been failed, or had they been dead, or had that property been gone a long time, they would perform a special rite to reclaim those areas. And as you read through, and we'll advance in your reading just a little bit here so that we can get to somebody else after this. Once you're finished with the Close Circle tribe section, you come to realize that there should be no reason they would turn to necromancy. It is a complete 180. They had an interest in burying their dead, but not ever excavating their dead. Though, perfect note here, it wasn't a superstition of theirs that was a bad thing. It was merely something they had not bothered with, as far as your reading is concerned.
Yeah, I'm trying to write down the notes for this right now. So,
fair enough.
It sounds like to me, people who had enough discontent for others that they were able to be swayed into necromancy. Like it's not something far beyond
Yeah.
being believable that they would turn to something like that.
Especially when, as far as we've heard so far, Hinselitis was literally like masquerading as Mother Nature or whatever equivalent that is. Wouldn't it just be Sylvanas? Am I stupid? Is that just BG3
No.
brain rot? Or
Sylvanas is but one god.
I was under the
of
impression
nature.
that was like, yeah. I mean, I figured
There
that's
are
what
several
Mother
gods.
Nature is.
There are several gods of nature, but nature itself is. If I'm also interpreting the text of 5th edition correctly, and I might not be because sometimes this stuff is confusing as balls, nature itself is almost considered its own subsection of kind of the weave, and basically it is its own font of magic that draws from the weave, essentially. Like, it has its own spirit as far as most gods are concerned.
Like,
But it's more
kinda
more
how
like a
there's difference
collective.
between
It's like a collective of magics, like the weave,
Okay,
just
yeah.
like a subsection of the weave. And again, if anybody is much smarter than me, feel free to correct me in like comments or on chat or whatever, because I'm a stupid boy sometimes, and there's a lot of lore in 5th edition to go through. There's like a lot of stuff, and my brain is only so full. Like, there's way too much here dedicated to dipshit Pokemon facts to know the exact nature of nature. Regardless. Anyway.
It's not exactly easy to find when you've got 5 different versions of the same lore spread across like
That's another
4
thing.
decades.
That's another
And
thing.
Duncan, oh boy, my specialty, not
um,
knowing a damn thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I feel most of the time. That's why I have my handy dandy little tools open.
Me not knowing stuff I was told 30 minutes ago.
So,
Yep.
let's step back away from that while Kunj continues his notes. Sebastian at this time arrives in the library, pretty much just a little bit after you finish your reading, Solero. And so you've now reconnected with your party in the library. Boga takes acknowledgement of your re-arrival, but he doesn't address you. He kind of just lets you be.
Sebastian will address Boga.
He seems relieved, and he actually breathes like a very shaky sigh. And
He'll smile and nod at Boga.
how is Sebastian being?
Of calmer mind, but feeling no better.
Not great, fam.
Not great, not gonna lie.
I'm not already doing great. Too much
I'm on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
I'm gonna come down my Joker arc, man.
Boga
Sebastian
seems to take
will also be
to take that in stride. But go on.
okay.
I think I would say if Sebastian was to walk into sight of Solera, because I want to make it clear that her course of action was not out of hostility for Sebastian in any way.
So feel
She's just
free.
gonna kind of regard him with like a I want half-hearted isn't the right word, like nervous kind of like wave, like hi.
Sebastian will just look at you and not say anything.
Okay, back to the book.
The
It's
book
like
that you finished.
She's going to pretend to keep reading it.
I'll just give Sebastian a quick summary of what I found so far.
Oh.
And yep,
Okay.
and then I'll tell you, I would love to chit chat, but this is a big book. I got a lot to go through.
Revealing the information, now Sebastian having a better understanding of how the closed circle tribe like how they would think, he he feels more stalwart than he was before.
Fair.
Yep.
So, yeah. Now he is unyielding in this regard. He knows his plan of action. He knows his path.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
could say I support you, whatever that plan is. I just want to finish this book first.
Sebastian remains quiet.
So, Sebastian, you plop yourself into the library. Do you have anything that you want to read while you're here, while everybody is doing their intensive research?
Hmm. Sebastian will. He probably won't do very well, but he will go and look for any other texts regarding maybe recorded events of the Close Circle tribe. Maybe not necessarily written as a historical piece, but maybe, oh, I don't know, things like newspapers, something similar to that. You know what I mean? Like, maybe somebody wrote down something they saw or something like that, and it's archived somewhere here.
Go ahead and make
I,
me an
I think
investigation
the
check.
particular thing I was looking for, I have a feeling if I really want to find it, either we're gonna have to pursue this trafficking thing, or I'm going to need to find a library in the city.
What are you looking for exactly, if I might ask?
Like, obviously it's secondary to all the, undead shit going on here,
Oh,
but I have to say, I am very concerned about this giant hole that nobody knows anything about. That is
which is
under the
fair.
biggest city in the country that just goes down and down and down and down, and nobody has any idea what it is.
I rolled something that wasn't under 10. Do I win?
Sebastian, you don't find what you're exactly looking for. After all, you're looking for a very specific topic in a place that it might not be relevant to. However, as
I
for
think we're gonna need to
events,
find another library.
events of import, you do find a small note tucked away in one of the bookshelves, likely left behind by the librarian. And it's old. Like, it's fairly old, but it's not like it wasn't obvious. But you find a note that says, reminder, find more books for this section from City Library. Excuse me, Al-Aqsa City Library. And the section it's stuck into is important events. Though the bookshelf that you're on seems to mostly indicate important events for the surrounding area.
Okay. Do we have room for another look for something, or is that it?
There's a lot of reading that Kunch has to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, considering Kunj has an entire day's worth to get through, I think we've got a hot minute.
I could go looking for another specific type of book, perhaps books on past conflicts between the tribes of this land.
Okay, and
Like a
you
history
are
book on war.
you are
between the
free as
tribes.
well, Solera. So you can feel free to take a look around for something as you like.
Trying to
An
think
hour
what else I
passed
would
for
look
Sebastian.
though. Can I? What do you get out of here? What are you
So,
doing wrong?
Sebastian, make me
Leave.
one more investigation check, we'll say.
You got it. Come on, something above a 10. Anything above 10. Hell yeah. Hell yeah!
For Sebastian,
holy
that's
shit.
great. Ow.
I fucking did it.
Sorry, I have a. You ever
Brain
get like
blast.
no? You ever get like a flash
Brain
itch,
blast.
like in a place that's
I'm
stupid?
doing it.
Like on the
I'm
back
thinking.
of my shoulder blade, there was just suddenly like you have to itch this right now,
And Dominic is dying.
like a snap.
That's just what's happening.
Is the stream gonna die again? I would be very mad if the stream dies again. Okay, well, anyway. Sebastian, you go through, and you actually do find what appears to be a small record. It is not substantial, but it appears to be a record of the wars between what were originally two separate tribes and not Kholm's tribe. So you can feel free to throw that open and read it for a while if you wish.
It's not necessarily something he's super interested in, but he'll read on it anyway. Perhaps there's something in here that may help him.
Okay. And we're gonna we're gonna move forward in time. We're gonna kind of speed things up just a little bit to get a few things moving. So we're gonna move up to 6:00 p.m. And Sebastian, to generally go through what you've learned from this reading, which was very short. It's about 3 hours. You were able to pour through it a couple of times because you really didn't have anything better to do while waiting for Kunj. You note that the tribes did not have names before becoming Kholm's tribe. They were a subset of tribes that were constantly at war, as I think you guys have heard already. They would be fighting over land so much that it wasn't often that they were able to establish any bases of operation. Such so was the aggression and the conflict. Now, there aren't any good recollections in this book about why the conflict was so difficult. The author muses that it was probably because this area is lush with good temperate climate and lots of flora and fauna that would make living relatively easy for those who were working together. But because the tribes were so desperate to have it all for themselves, they constantly attacked each other. Elders and important players in the tribes were lost like leaves on a fallen tree, as the author muses. And the most important thing that you end up finding and learning about was that it seemed like the tribes ended up having to draw from smaller groups from the rest of Rukrot, sending out gifts maybe to other tribes, asking to be sent people to help them fight. Interestingly, you find that one of these tribes was a tribe of Dragonborn. A small one.
Oh.
There is no information about this tribe here, with the exception of a name. And the name, in the common tongue at least, is Scaleshine.
Scaleshine. Okay. Okay, Sebastian actually found something interesting. Let's go.
Sebastian actually
he only cares about his own. Wow.
Hey man, when I completely fail at literally everything, I deserve small victories. The only thing I succeed in is swinging a weapon, at least for the most part. Okay.
Well, see, that's your area of expertise. That's definitely not Solera's area of expertise. We all have our ups and downs.
My area of expertise is being very quiet and going to places.
Now, I might be wrong.
Scaleshine.
Yes, Scaleshine in the common tongue.
Okay. And since I speak Draconic, would I know what that is in Draconic?
Let me check.
Because I'm a dragon boy. I speak Draconic.
You're the Dragonborn.
I thought you were a lizard folk. Iguana.
I'm gonna kick you in the teeth.
To be fair, I'm not the one who started Big Blue Iguana.
So Sebastian, while the book itself does not actually make mention of the Draconic translation, it doesn't note that there may even be a Draconic translation. The closest thing that you think it would be something akin to Turnakonska.
Turnako.
Here, I'll type it here. Ternokkanska.
Ooh.
Oh.
But then again, this is just you thinking back based on your version of the Draconic tongue. Their tribe's name might have been entirely different, or they might have even used a different language. Though Draconic is quite an old language, so it wouldn't be impossible for them to use Draconic.
Well, he's immediately going to draw a connection to potential the dragonborn body we spoke to. Perhaps he belonged to that tribe, and didn't that dragonborn body say that he belonged to a tribe in the north?
In the
From what I remember?
mountains, I
Think so.
believe. Yes.
Yeah, I think he was the one that directed us towards saying like that's where the dragon like landed.
No, that was
Not
the slumbering
landed, but
tribe.
like, oh, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I believe he
just
gave you the name.
stupid. Ah,
He was the first person to mention Oxnoth.
Yeah.
So, at exactly
I
6
must
o'clock
believe
p.m.,
the
and I
city.
might be misremembering my timings here, so if I'm wrong and I forgot, again, people can feel free to lambaste me in the comments for not knowing the exact thing. But 12 hours after the initial feeling, Jen, you feel your ring burn and singe your finger. It's not enough to damage your skin, but for a fleeting moment, as if as a reminder, your hand burns. Like the ring has suddenly grown very, very hot.
Hmm. I'm just gonna try to keep that under wraps.
Right? You basically hit the snooze button on your ring, giving you a bit of a sting. Or
oh, why? Just imagine, just like there's just an off button on the ring.
just give it a
No.
slap.
Like, no, I don't feel like getting burned right now. Can you please stop? I would prefer if you didn't.
How about no? He's basically hitting like Windows update. Pick a time when
Pick a
Please
time,
remind
never.
me in 1 week.
I just can't put up with it right now.
So yes, it's been 12 hours and you've been reminded. It's very precise. Very precise. But if anybody else has anything else they'd like to do with the day, I'm going to advance us up to sleepy time.
Okay.
For lack of a better term.
Time to eepies, I guess.
So, we're going to advance all the way to... Hang on. I'm going to edit my time thing so that I'm not crazy. We're going to go to 10 p.m. Like, we're going to really rock it towards the end goal here. And we'll say that
Okay.
at this point, the library has closed. Now, Kunj, you are able, if you wish, to check out
this
the
is
book
the
that
longest
you read.
period of
that you were
time
reading.
Sebastian has ever spent in the presence of books.
Coons will definitely look into seeing if you can check out the book and
What
yeah.
is Sebastian's actual intelligence score again?
I think it's 10.
Perfectly average.
He's not dumb. He's not
I-
like. He's
I mean,
just,
I guess
like,
it technically
perfectly average.
depends on like the area he grew up in, because technically, since 10 is supposed to be the average, if the average, like regular peasant in the area he lived in was not the brightest, then technically that would mean he's not the brightest. But that's all very circumstantial.
For ease's sake, 10 is the average intelligence for all creatures across the realm that have a brain in their heads and they don't speak in woof woof, bark bark, meow meow, or cheep chirp cheep.
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be like 4 intelligence. That's the.
No, I said that isn't bark bark, meow meow, chirp chirp, cheep cheep.
Well, yeah, I know. I was saying I'm pretty sure, like, if you're below 4 intelligence, you're doing like. I'm pretty sure anything that's like 4 or above is capable of thinking.
Yes, and what I'm saying is that the average for creatures that don't do that is 10.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I was trying
I'll
to
go
do it
check
in a
out the
very jokey way. So,
Yeah, well,
Kunj can
It's
check
not
out the
funny!
book. But here is the here are the important things that you have henceforth learned about the rituals and rites. So The Close Circle Tribe, basically done, you only learn that, and I think you guys already knew this, that the Close Circle Tribe was always dangerously close to engaging in shadow druid activity. Things that were less nice towards the humanoid presence in their country. But they were always kept on a good path and roughly just left everybody alone to do their thing and essentially only worked to clean up the messes of other races.
So
There,
all it took was a single push.
it is an interesting thought, isn't
What a
it?
shame.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, a single push from what all we know as a fucking, if not just an extremely powerful individual caster, something at least along the lines of some sort of demigod shifting planes and, controlling people mind, body, and soul.
I mean, one shouldn't be able to be convinced to commit genocide very easily. But
I mean, when it's your god that you've believed in all your life, telling you directly that that's what they believe is best, I mean, that's just how.
yeah, but like,
I mean, just
if all of a
to
sudden
look at.
Bahamut,
Just
if I
literally
heard
just
a,
look at the real.
so in all fairness, if I all of a sudden heard Bahamut start whispering in my ear to slaughter the local orphanage because he demands blood sacrifice, I'd start to question whether or not that was actually him talking to me.
I guess you're just a bad for Bahamut then. Maybe those orphans were evil.
Well,
the orphans have committed
The
crimes
orphans-
against.
The orphans had a secret meth lab
well, that's what I
underneath their
said.
bedroom.
That's why I added the caveat of he demands blood sacrifice.
Yeah, blood sacrifice of meth addicts. Sounds
Well,
real to me.
Either way,
Guys.
I think you get where I'm going with that, though. At least,
Yes,
I have to be informing a particular changeling about the reading escapades, the rainbow,
Yes,
as it were,
please,
of things that
please.
he's found.
I spent a half a day on this.
Oh, sorry.
So,
right. Sorry.
moving on to another of the tribes was the Slumbering Tribe. Now, their rites have just about everything to do with keeping their specific groves safe. They revere those trees above all, and then they revere creatures after that, and then general nature after that, basically as a hierarchy. They believe that they are gigantic trees that ooze the slumbering sap, the ones that are eternally living, but also not quite. They believe them to be pure essences of nature at its finest, especially considering the bounty that it gives. Many of their rites simply are basically protection rites and blessing rites for themselves and other trees that they believe will grow into such magnificent beasts centuries down the line. And while it's well documented, it doesn't really hold a whole lot of importance to you about about what you're seeing ahead of you. Though you do find that they are exceedingly okay with using the sap as trading like fodder. They basically use it to bargain with the other tribes as much as possible. In fact, I think you guys already found that they gifted you some. Am I not mistaken?
Yes, I was given
Yes.
some, which,
Mhm.
if they're so willing to trade it, maybe I should ask for some, because that's one of the materials for literally the best healing potions I can make.
Regardless, we move on to the Delmeyer tribe. Now, the Delmeyer tribe is one that is posited by the author to be derisive. No, it's not derisive. Is it derisive? I can't. I've had to do this
I don't
3
know, I
times
can't read
today.
your mind.
Hang on. No. No, I'm thinking of a different word. God bless. Okay. Basically, there is a lot of odd stuff about what they did and what they revere and their methods, but there really isn't anything wrong with what they do either on a technical level. Now, earliest records of the Delmire tribe have them, as I think you guys might have already learned, goodness gracious, as being spawned from the river. Ugh. That's what their folklore says. They believe that they were originally denizens of the many rivers of Rukrok, especially the river veins, which is where their tribe is headquartered. They have always been a tribe that has done all of their working even more secretly than any other tribe attempted. But the author can't even find out why. They know a lot. They seem to have eyes and ears everywhere, but he has no idea how they get all of that information. A few rights of note. Many of the tribes believed that many of the tribesmen believed that discretion was something that you actually had to be blessed with. And they describe kind of a ritual where they would do it and whatnot. But you also see a callback to the fact that these tribesmen can turn into whippers. Now, the author tried to find out whether this was something bestowed upon them at birth and is inherent in their genes, or if it's something that can be ritually given to them, like actual druidic wild shape through, study and magical blessing. But he thinks the closest thing is actual inherent magical ability. Regardless, their rituals, at least old rituals, for disposing of their dead, were actually to send the dead into the river, and the author says that he cannot believe he has to write this down, they would transform, consume the bodies, and let the bones float down the river to its exit.
What the fuck?
The author then makes note that he can't confirm that they still do this, but it does not appear to be a tradition that has survived advancement into the modern day.
Nothing
I
wrong
don't- I
with,
can't see
eating
why.
grandma.
Well, I had to pause there for a second to just take that in real quick. But yeah, okay.
Regardless, he makes a
She's not doing
particular
anyone
note
any good dead.
that also was considered a very important ceremony for the people that fell. And the Delmire tribe was perhaps unique in their decision to not very often bury where they dropped. They would try to find a body of water to dispose of the bodies into and then consume in that same way.
Note to self: do not drink from the water without filtering it out.
The author says that because of how much they actually, I hate to use the term adore, but how
So.
often they utilize their Quipper forms, and how often they would simply make their tactics not well known to others, he thinks that they must use their Quippers for more than just travel. But again, he can't confirm. Finally, you have a section, and we'll say this is as you read to the end of the book. That is a couple of other things that he's found over the year. None of them catch your eye, with the exception of one. A tribe of unknown people, though a tribe that appears to have been made up of mostly dragonborn. Revered some kind of deity that goes unnamed in the texts and oral traditions that he's found. It is mostly considered superstition amongst the other tribes, but it was believed that these people used to work for a dragon. But it's, again, unconfirmed, as a lot of this is. Finally, in that section, it is believed that the dragon at one point fell, and the tribe may have deliberately moved the dragon's body parts and buried them in many different places around the country. With no real understanding as to why on the part of the author. Because as far as he's concerned, he hasn't been able to find a single member of that ancient unnamed tribe that has ever been connected in the modern day. No descendants.
So it
Apparently,
seems
they
like
didn't
the
do a good enough
dragon.
job of burying them.
Right?
Yeah, because it's definitely these. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Well,
we're we're a bit late. This is the JRPG gather, the 7 evil stones, but we here like it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. And that is the end all be all of the
I will
library
say,
excursion. And my brain has dumpstered everything that is currently.
my personal thought process right now is I think the most time efficient would be going to chicken with the Slumbering Tribe again and then going to the Delmire Tribe. But because I feel like because God, Kholm himself said that he would stand with us if we decided to, for lack of a better term, assault Alalaxka. But we're probably going to want more than just one of them to help us, especially not to discredit their surely wonderful capabilities, but they weren't exactly faring so well against one necromancer. So just them on their own probably wouldn't be all the help we could ask for.
Oh, really quick
problem
pause.
is, I wonder.
I meant to mention this, but I genuinely forgot. Kunj, because you were specifically looking for lich stuff, there is not a single mention of lich practices amongst the tribes within the whole book. Not even lich superstition. And that strikes you as incredibly strange and incredibly important. I'm sorry, please continue, Alex.
Well, I'm imagining, cause at least my gathering so far is that all these undead such ideas were all planted in their head, uh, if not just directly by Henselitis, through Henselitis, because it seems like he took control of their most recent tribe leader, and then through him spread that dogma over the course of years, having them go through all this stuff, working towards this revival more or less for, I mean, I can only assume digging up tons of body parts of a dragon god question mark doesn't just happen, over the course of a summer. Though it seems like this has been a brainwashing thing in progress for quite some time. But the initial thing I was going to say, because I'm not
Hot undead
sure,
summer.
I feel like the Delmire tribe won't be too difficult to convince to join us if we were to directly assault Alalaxka. God, why did you have to make it so hard to pronounce, Dom?
Alalaxa. Sorry.
Because I mean they're already in, I mean I guess I'm kind of just going off of vibes and all that, but point being, I don't know about the Slumbering Tribe specifically because it seems like they what they want us to do is not, I don't know. I think maybe it would be in our best interest to go up there first and just try and find out what it would take directly and just lay it out and say, look, these guys are offering to help us. We're planning on going to talk to the Delmire tribe. What are you gonna do? Are you maybe not phrase it like this, but are you guys just gonna sit here on your asses,
What you gonna do?
twiddling your thumbs while everybody else in this country is fighting and dying to save your asses?
A fair enough place to go, honestly.
Because if we're going to try and talk to everybody again, it just, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too big of a deal to go from Delmire to the Slumbering Tribe, and then here, let me actually do a proper path here, because there's no actual road here. So if we just went, I guess, because there's also I'm completely forgetting. There's still these two areas here and here that I don't think we've been to at all.
Yeah, I don't think we've made it that far either.
You only know the name of this small place, but as I think I remember, you guys saw it from this mountaintop by the Crow's Temple. I think it was Ocularis that managed to get a good look at it. I
Of
think through
course.
some magic, but it looked like it was completely destroyed. And I think it was mentioned
Okay.
by there was a dead
What
merchant.
about
Right, there was a dead
this
traveling
place over
merchant.
here at the end?
Now that I believe you guys saw as what looked like a fort or some kind of fortified holding, but you guys weren't close
Okay, so
enough
maybe
to see.
maybe the best plan of action here, since unless anybody has anything else they want to read from the library, I think we're pretty much done here for now. Maybe it would be to basically go up here, check out if there's anything notable left of this place at all, and then just try and venture up here again, talk to them. Because I feel like we shouldn't just leave whatever the fuck this is just not seen. Because obviously that's there could be God knows what there that may or may not assist. I'm trying to God, I'm
Hang
so
on,
bad
we're
at planning out
reconnecting.
routes.
We have a
Oh,
small moment where we're reconnecting. Here.
well.
I need to take a short break. I'm gonna go use the restroom, and I will be right back with some new
Wow.
water. Because my voice
Bad
is
DM.
shot. But I will be right back, and we'll continue. So you guys discuss amongst yourselves what you guys think the best course of action is, and I will join with you in a minute.
I am
I
trying to plan out the shortest route here.
I honestly think as far as like investigation and information gathering goes, I genuinely don't think there is
Oh.
anything else we can gather that will add something, new to this equation.
Yeah, there's probably not.
At the very least, outside the capital.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of new information we can glean, but depending on like if there are people over here, because obviously this place here is, as we were just told, destroyed. But if there's a whole intact
Yeah.
fort over here, there could be people there that might be able to be convinced into assisting us. Let's see, so we
Well,
got
the
there.
question is how many people do we want to convince to assist us? If like you pointed out before that these guys could barely protect themselves, like protect their own gate. Like how difficult do we really want to send people who couldn't really defend themselves into a fight?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure how feasible it would be, but I think rather than like sending them all into the city, because like we were obviously already planning to go up through the sewers and stuff, and from our looks, it seems like those places, like, that's not patrolled at all down there. So we could potentially get like several big groups of people, sneak them into the sewers, and like basically pop up right into the main building. And while a full frontal outward assault probably would not end well, I feel like if we had a whole bunch of people just suddenly show up right in the middle, like in their like headquarters where all just the necromancers are, rather than like the streets being patrolled by God knows what, I feel like we would be able to catch them at the very least off guard.
Well, yeah, true, we would catch them off guard, but like seeing as how quickly those guys died, like it seems like even if we caught them off guard, it would swiftly end in their demise. Cuz they're not like us. Like they can't take, you know, they're not like, me especially, like you can't take 15 hits before being able to just heal. They die in like two shots.
I mean,
Well,
that's this is gonna sound callous, but that's war, like, and like as terrible as it is, like sometimes you need like the more bodies you have, the better a chance you stand to get like
I
strength
think
and
we should
numbers.
I think we should avoid
Just
sending
because
anybody
they're very,
in until we've learned that it's a necessity.
a bunch of. Well, then there's not. I mean, there's then at that point, there's not really been any point in us wandering around talking to all these people when
Well, there
we
has
might
been
as well
because
just
we've
beeline it
gathered.
straight for the capital now.
Well, we've gathered plenty of information. We saved lives. We helped villages of various different problems. We've
I mean,
we've
because
dispatched
Colm
plenty
already
of threats.
specifically said that he would be willing to join us in the fight.
Yes, but those who are directly willing, like all I'm saying is if it looks like we need their help, then yeah. But if it looks like we won't, I don't know if we should. Like if their help isn't necessary. Because I'm not confident in their ability to be able to hold their own against these people.
I mean, I'm not
Like-
exactly confident in our ability to walk right into a necromancer lair on our own
Well, like you said,
with
we
no
wouldn't be just.
backup.
Well, like you said, we wouldn't just be walking in there. We'd be
And
popping out through the
also,
sewers.
I do have the feed city secrets, which I just know how to get through the city pretty quickly without, if we avoid combat. That is.
Yeah, in which if you need, you can literally just put the half plate armored paladin in the ring, where I won't be fucking up everybody's stealth checks.
Yeah, we just need. I mean, I am definitely with Alex a little bit. It definitely would be nice to have something to maybe keep a lot of the main forces away from us while we do our thing.
I mean, if you guys want to, I'm like obviously not like forcing anybody to do it.
All right,
That's
I'm
just
here.
where I stand
On
on it.
Earth is
I-
that noise?
It's me.
I think
I'm here.
I think like
No, that
that's
was not
maybe
you.
What
they
was
can
not me?
distract the necromancers, like create some noises outside the city.
I mean, I think
Maybe.
that would be vastly worse for them. Like that's why I'm thinking like taking them all inside
How-
with us. If we overwhelm the necromancers themselves with just like a raw number of bodies, because they definitely stand zero chance against the horde that is like what I remember from what we saw like on the bridge, like just the bridge to the city is literally packed with undead.
Yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean distraction tactic wouldn't be beneficial.
I mean,
I'd
yeah,
like
but I
to
think it
try
would
to
be
get
more.
rid of that
It would be
dragon
deadlier
before
for
we
them.
run into the middle of everything.
Yeah, I think the dragon needs to
Yeah,
go
the
down.
dragon's
Even
the biggest
if
problem.
even if it's tied to a phylactery and it is able to be revived by the time we get there, I'd rather try and then realized it was useless than not try and get fucked over anyway.
Well, yeah, but I think
Like,
we went over this before because that comes to the fact is if we go there and it turns out it can get revived, then that means we are lacking in resources that we probably use
Well,
trying to
so
fight it.
remember this, a long rest, if we need it, is technically only 8 hours. So what we could do is we could spend an 8-hour long
I
rest
mean, not to
and
be
then head
uh
in.
that not to be that bitch, but I feel like it would be mildly out of character to start this whole assault on them by attacking like their main, juggernaut and then go, okay, we take EPs.
Actually, no. You get done with a large battle and knowing that you're tired, wounded, and in need of a quick rest, then yeah, resting before, heading into the main fight would not be unrealistic.
No, it wouldn't be
It's
unrealistic for sure.
Technically, that's
But
that
it would
kinda
buy
hit
the
and run
enemy.
tactic is.
It would buy the enemy time to recover, of course, but still, depending on the
that's the
size
thing.
of the hit, it may not be enough to recover in time. That just depends on your action.
If it's
I mean,
possible to recover the dragon or this large dragon, I'm just gonna call it a dragon.
I think we
Yeah,
literally had it
it's
confirmed for us
the
that it is
dragon.
literally a dragon.
The
Probably by a
dragon,
slip of my tongue or something.
if it can be revived, I doubt something that large and that powerful can be revived within 8 hours. Because a lot of those large spells require rituals that take a long time. So it's distinctly possible that killing it while it's isolated will make our assault on the place vastly easier. Like, I think it's worth a try regardless of the outcome.
Though I do agree that there should be some caution with that
I
in
mean,
general. I think that Alex has some points that,
was it
you know,
this? What mountain was it that it landed? Was it this one?
yes, that's the
I feel
one.
like I remember it being.
That's the one.
Oh, I
Look, all
mean,
I'm
I
saying
guess
is
then
I'd
instead
rather
we could just go up here, check these places out, and then just can't just walk through mountains.
like as it stands, like we could like even if it does get revived,
That's
fighting
what
it
140
blind,
miles.
if we fight it
Plus
blind,
difficult terrain, which would be quite a
yeah.
lot, actually.
Oh, jeez, that doubles it. So basically, I'll just it's basically 280 miles then.
Well, the whole thing isn't exactly difficult
Well,
terrain,
I mean,
but
yeah,
there
but
will
just
be
to like get a
exceptions.
higher end,
Yeah.
that's 140 hours. So
Split up an 8-hour
I can do
day.
math.
Yeah.
20, 24. Oh, right, yeah, of specifically of travel.
18 days worth of travel
Oh my
would
god.
be a long. It would be a long journey. At
Yeah,
the highest level.
well, and I guess like just to finalize this too, it's if we do end up fighting it alone, we'll at least know what it is, how it attacks, and how we measure up against it. And if we have to fight it again, it won't be blind while also trying to fight a bunch of necromancers.
Oh, sorry. It would actually be like 11 days of travel or 12 days. But anyway, no, a little more than a 10-day of hard travel.
I mean, if that's what everybody else would prefer to do, then I guess that would be the quickest route.
Well,
Or I mean,
you
we could
know, you
also
guys
just
know
straight
where I
beeline it.
stand. What does everybody else think?
If we just
I'd,
straight beelined it directly there, it would be shorter.
I'd
Sorry.
also like to check out these other locations just to see if there's
Mm.
happens to be something there that would help us in this fight. I just don't want to be fighting potentially hordes of enemies while something's dropping
Yeah.
stuff on top of us as well.
It turns out that right can I move the can I God damn it, roll 20. It turns out that right here we will find and it's not pinging. We're gonna find the sword of Lich Dragon Slaying that does D100 damage uh specifically to Lich Dragons. But only their back. Yes, I know I'm hilarious. Thank you for laughing.
To be fair, I heard like a third of what you said because
It
of
was
cutting.
probably because Roll20 slows down the shit on my computer, and I was trying to move the stupid turn order box so I could actually ping the place. Never, it wasn't a funny joke. Just forget I said anything.
Fair enough. But yeah, we should
Yeah,
check
then I
out the
guess
remaining locations we
probably
haven't seen yet, and then
Did we ever
so.
figure out what
Just
was going on with that crystal pillar?
the crystal pillar? No, I don't think
like the
so.
crystal under the ground. I don't think, but honestly, like
Yeah, that you guys had me put in
I
my
don't know.
room.
I feel like oh yeah.
Yeah, we did.
I mean,
We could
I
try it
honestly
on.
have no fucking idea what like I feel like that should wait until because I feel like anything to do with Delta's watch is better off waiting until uh this up here because it'll be a lot
Yeah.
easier to try and figure out what's going on with that when there isn't the looming threat of undead apocalypse literally surrounding us for hundreds of miles on all sides.
Plus, it looks like Fae shenanigans are keeping the people there safe from the undead, at least.
And
Buster,
also,
mate.
I will say maybe I'm reading it too much, but I kind of get the impression that there's Fey shenanigans, or were Fey shenanigans going on in Alalaksa, just based on that one line. Like again, might be reading too much into it, but the line of like some of the houses just being so exuberantly gaudy that they felt like they were, as it said, plucked from a fairy tale. You know, like, obviously rich people are eccentric, but it seems like, from the sound of it, it was a bit much, even for, like, eccentric rich people houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, literally houses adorned with jewels and shit, which is not normal.
I mean, I do know there's a lot of baggage waiting for coons in that capital.
Some
I guess
point,
then-
yes.
Yeah, probably, I guess then if we all want to check out these over here, I doubt that Vilmex, from the sound of it, Vilmex is going to be a super big stop, but I think it's probably still worth at least seeing if there's anything left to be scavenged from what's left.
Indeed. There,
So
if
that
I
would
remember
be
correctly, the
58.6.
the corpse of the merchant let you know that I think the biggest meadery in the country is there, or the biggest brewery. I can't remember what. I have to look at. I have to go into my Vilmex, so-
that can wait, but we've killed the dragon. We're ready to celebrate. Well, I guess actually now that I think about it, there's probably something of interest to Sebastian there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 58 divided by...
So
Is it 2 miles per hour or 3 miles per hour that
3 is the standard,
characters
4
walk?
is fast.
Okay. Okay, so 58 divided by 3... Oh wait, no, I'm stupid. 58... It would be 58 divided by 8. Is how many actual days it would be, I think. I don't know, I'm bad at math. I'm terrible.
Okay.
No, just leave the DM to figure that out. It's
So
his business.
we have a confirmation that you guys are going to head up to Vilmex first, go to the fortified place that you were looking for, and then head further north. Correct? I'm confirming this to be
That's what it's seeming like.
the party's idea. So let me get a show of yays.
I think yes. Yes. I think going
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vilmex.
It was my idea, but nay, no.
Okay.
No,
So-
fuck you.
I'm gonna do something here, and we're
God.
gonna call this a shorter part. But there's an important thing that needs to happen first.
Bruh.
Now, the reason I'm calling this a
Bruh.
shorter part is because we're about to embark on a larger section of journey, and I want to give Parker the opportunity to come in next week. Hopefully, he's feeling better, so that he can be a
Maybe
part
he
of
should
this
just
important
stop being
journey
sick,
north.
forehead.
Exactly. I'm going to give him some time to come back in. And we will pick this up next week. But for now, the party is going to be long resting at the inn. What time do you guys want to be up?
I mean, as early as everybody's willing, right? Like
Yep.
like as soon as an 8-hour rest is done, we get up and go.
I feel like at this point, there's just no point in trying to like us in right now, especially when lives are on the line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like always how I mean, I've never really personally cared when we wake up. I just feel like might as well just get going as soon as we can.
So I will then set you for the earliest long rest time, which would be 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
there is something that is going to happen here. And for this, I have to go. And somebody here is coming with me.
Oh, hi,
Okay.
Dusty.
Has
think-
Dusty been taken
Is
away?
it-
boy.
Uh-oh.
Good day, sir.
Hello.
You have an important thing that is about to happen in the midst of your rest during the night. And this happens while you are away from the rest of your party. I have to make sure that my thing is still recording. Can you say something just to make sure?
Hello.
Okay, so you are being picked up. Wonderful. My thing didn't break. So, the time is the strike of midnight. And you are just getting to doze off into a slumber. You and your party have spent a good amount of time preparing, knowing for what you're going to do next. But it is at this stroke of midnight that once again you feel your ring start to singe. But it's not momentary this time. It is starting to get very hot very quickly. Just as you're about to sleep, it's time to make a snap decision. Are you going to ignore the ring again? Or are you going to heed its call?
I'll heed its call.
Okay. So, this time, you're drawn into the ring. Almost against your will, but by heeding its call, you have affirmed you're ready. And peer inside your ring, not just in front of your contract, but you feel a presence. You can't see him, but you know him. It's the Afridi that you're bound to, pact-wise. The one who holds your contract. And if I'm remembering correctly, his name is Dushi the Lucky? Am I pronouncing that right?
Oh. I have to look at it.
I'm pretty sure his tagline was the Lucky, at the very
Yeah.
least.
It was the Lucky.
So,
I think it's Dushai,
Shy. Thank you. You can hear...
but I could be pronouncing that wrong too.
Yeah, honestly. You can hear the booming voice of your patron ringing from within the ring. My patience wears thin, Jen. I have offered you an amendment to your contract, and you have not given me an answer. I am calling upon you now to make a decision. My patience is gone, my time precious, and you are going to have a task ahead of you. For this, I need an answer now, lest you suffer my wrath. So what do you think? Do you need a reminder as to the particulars?
No, I'm looking at it. It's just I'm good with clause number 2. Clause number 1's my hang up.
Well, I mean, how could it not be your hang-up? Your patron is asking you to refrain from all communication with your family. It's a big deal. But he's offering you a very, very extended power set in that regard.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna have to turn it down.
Will. Okay.
I'll still do whatever the task is. I just
Okay.
not gonna agree to those new terms.
Shy, you can hear in his voice he is immensely irritated with you. But the amendment to your contract burns away, the ink evaporating off of the parchment as if it were nothing but water on a hot day. It spills into the air of the ring and then dissipates for good. Disappointing that you would turn down such an increase in power. But I don't have time to waste on positing why. Regardless, I have a task that you must complete if you wish to remain in my charge. So, you are to locate an artifact and destroy it. Can you handle such a task?
Yes.
Good. The artifact you are looking for is the Frozen Key. Very simple name, very powerful object.
Okay.
So, you basically feel for a moment that there's almost a stamp on your soul. You've accepted this task, and once you feel this almost stamp on your soul, Shai gets a hearty chuckle and says, Great. You know your task, whelp, and you will complete it if you wish to remain in my charge. There will be a reward for your service, of course. I am nothing if not generous, but I have other things to attend to that do not matter to this mortal realm that you are head stuck in. And so, I take my leave now. Goodbye. And with no more than a flash, the entirety of the room goes cold again. His fire, his presence is... It's left. And you are forcibly ejected from your ring, with your contract remaining as it was. Your addendum declined.
Okay.
Oh, but welcome back to reality.
Hello.
Is Jen
Oh,
dead?
3 wishes now. What do we want to wish for?
Oh,
Whoa! Wow. Okay.
I wish for a hamburger.
Well, I'm
Not
smart.
granted.
I'm
Not
smart
granted.
enough.
Not
I'm
granted. We all die.
I'm
Shit.
smart enough to know that we don't wish for the undead problem to be over, because then a giant meteor will probably strike Rukrot and just kill all of them.
Is this like a monkey's paw situation, or?
No,
It's a
I got a
gin,
new
dude.
task I have to do.
I was gonna say it's a Jin. Of course, it's a monkey paw.
You know, Sebastian would have a very selfish wish, but he'll stay quiet. Well, that specifically tailors to him, but he won't. He won't say anything.
Do you have to forsake your family still, or?
Nope.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Good.
And
Hell yeah.
it is here, as you guys gather in the morning and ready yourselves to move forward, that we are going to end for the evening. Again, I'm sorry to end it quickly, but I want to give Parker some time, and hopefully he can come in next week, and we can once again gather the party, especially if we're going to be having a large... I hate life so much. Dude.
Oh my god.
Regardless, we seem to be back, so if Parker can come back... Yeah, I know, this shit, exactly. So, hopefully Parker can come back next week, because it's possible that you guys might be confronting the dragon. And I feel like that's an important step for the entire party to take. Regardless, we will pick up next week where we left off. Meantime, thank you guys for playing. I know there was a lot of information, and a little bit less forward work than we normally get. That might be a lie. Sometimes. But I hope you all had fun regardless. Even those of you that were simply reading the funny section of the library. I appreciate everybody coming by to listen to me spout out about lore that is just, here.
The lore.
This was the lore explanation episode.
So, we will see everybody next week. I'm going to start uploading over the next couple of days. I am committing to uploading P's and Q's VODs. I'm literally going to sign off from this right now, and I'm going to go log into the P's and Q's YouTube channel and set VODs to upload. So that's about to happen. I will see everybody next time.
Dominic still hasn't given anybody the up and up on when he wants to continue the Fallout game, so I will sit.
I suppose whenever you want. In fact, here's my suggestion. If Parker says I can't come,
first 2 weeks of March.
if Parker says that he can't come, you can run Fallout, and we'll hopefully have him for the next week. But week after next, if he can come, we'll do Fallout the week after that. Does that sound good to you?
Yay!
Okay.
I have fun with that game. Don't make it.
Yay!
Thanks to Duncan, obviously, and anybody else who came by to listen to us rant about Dungeons and Dragons and to enjoy this.
Just Duncan.
Just Duncan.
Just
You're
Duncan.
right. He deserves special treatment.
You are the chosen one.
The chosen one. So, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.